Hello everyone. We are going to do another live stream for the Ruby Friends iOS app. I'm just getting everything set up over here, make sure you can hear me, making sure you can see me, and we'll dive in just a few minutes. If you're in the chat, drop a hello in the chat there so I can say hi. It'd be awesome to see what everyone is up to and who's here. And we'll get started in just 2 minutes here. Today we're going to be diving into how the Ruby Friends authentication works. We're going to be diving into how we can switch out tabs for authenticated tabs. And if there's time after that, which I'm assuming there will be, we are going to start adding a new feature for push notifications. I think that push notifications is a pretty big part of this app, and I've been kind of waiting for this live stream to do it. So, very excited to actually build that out today. All right. So, a few minutes passed. There are a few folks watching. I don't want to keep them waiting. So, let's dive in. So for those that haven't seen it yet, RubyFriends, it's RubyFriends.app, is a new app that I built after RailsConf to, when you meet someone at a conference, you scan their QR code, you get to add them as a friend, and keep in touch with them. That's pretty much it. I have a bunch of friends here on this that I have connected with at different conferences. I met Rosa for the first time at RailsConf this year. I met Jim at the conference. I met all of these folks for the first time just a few weeks ago. And I'm already starting to build relationships with them because I can see and remember exactly what we kind of spoke about. So the most important thing though is that this thing is an iOS app, right? And this iOS app is already live in the App Store. Which is kind of wild. So I know that I posted about it on my newsletter this week. So I'm going to just drop that link in the chat. Oh, if it's, let me boost my volume. Thanks for the heads up. That should have made it a lot louder. Let me know, Lucas, if that is still not loud enough. I will see what I can do there. But let me know. I guess I can't. I need to figure out. I'm using OBS, which is like just way overkill for this, but it's a good way to stream. And I need to figure out how to get the chat up here that I can respond to it. So I'm just gonna open up YouTube in the background here. Okay. So there is the link to the app to download, which is pretty cool because I built it in about a week. And here we are. You can download that. Okay, enough promotion, enough talk. Let's actually dive in. Let's hit up localhost. We have my profile. We have my friends here. This is all the seeded data. And let's look at authentication here, shall we? So, in the Rails app, we have a application controller. And that includes authentication, concern. And the authentication concern is pretty much a bare bones authentication concern that is generated from the Rails 8 generator. The only thing that I have added to this, there are two things. I'm using an account on current. Actually, this isn't even talking about account. Yeah, we're not talking about account here. I'm requiring a confirmed email address. So I actually send an email when someone creates an account and they have to confirm that. Otherwise, they will get their session terminated and get redirected and be like, hey, you got to confirm your account, your email address. And then I also handle the turbo stream format to redirect them if they are making a request via a turbo stream. So that's it. This is all if you got rid of, this much and this much, we are looking at the bare bones Rails 8 authentication. So nothing at all exciting there, nothing crazy going on. It's where we start talking about the iOS app that things, I think, get really interesting. So when I run this, when I'm signed in, I get 3 tabs across the bottom. My profile, which is my actual profile, right? So this is, well, not me. It is a picture of me, but it's not my profile. It's the dev profile that is localhost NRAB is the short code there. So this is like I know what user this is. My friends is /friends, and then notifications is notifications. So let's sign out. When I click sign out here, we get 1 tab. So I just quit the app because I think that it was trying to sync up with I've just been changing out Git versions. Branches. We get no tabs, right? So when you're not signed in, you get no tabs. You still get the modal of being able to sign in. And when then you sign in, you get your 3 tabs across the bottom, right? Let's try that again. If I sign out, we go back to no tabs. So the native code is actually doing something that is a little bit more than when we had all handled on the web, right? Because we have this native interaction. So if we open up the scene controller, you'll see that I have both a tab bar controller from Hotwire and a bare bones navigator, right? And we're using each of these to handle the different states in the app. This is when they're signed in, and this is when they're unauthenticated. So when the app launches, we just set the root view controller to the navigator and start it. So every time the app launches, we're just hitting the root URL, right? That's all that this controller knows about. But it's also listening for this local notification, this not push notification, but a notification in Swift. It's listening for this did sign in notification. And when it does, it's going to call this did sign in function down here. And what that does is it sets the window root view controller to the tab bar controller. So it's listening for this notification to say, okay, the user has signed in. Let's switch over to the root view controller. Now we're authenticated. We can show the tab bar. But how do we actually trigger that, right? How do we fire that notification? Well, what we're doing is every time the page loads, so we have a layout application, just like most Rails apps will, we render this sessions meta partial, right? The sessions meta partial is seeing if there is a profile on the account. So every user is associated with an account. Yeah, pretty much like a pub sub. Yeah, they go to multiple folks. So you have to stop listening. Yeah, they're pretty much a pub sub. So if you have an account and it is a profile account, so in the future companies will be able to use this, or businesses or sponsors or organizers. This is saying you have a developer profile. We add this bridge component markup, the bridge authentication, and then we pass in the profile path of the profile of the user. What this does is the bridge authentication controller, it just fires connect with the path. So on every single page load, if the user is authenticated and has a profile attached to their account, we're firing connect with this path. Boom, 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 boom. Every single page load. The iOS app, and eventually the Android app, listens for that with an authentication component. And what it does is on receive, if it can parse out the path that was sent there, right? So remember, we're passing down path over the wire right here. Can't make this any smaller, unfortunately. We get the hash of path pointing to the path, and then we're pulling that out. We're calling on current, which is a global singleton, kind of like current in Rails, at least trying to draw parallels from it. And we're calling set launch path on it, with that path. What this does is it writes that to disk. User defaults is storage, scoped to the app, and it's not insecure in that it can be leaked, but it's not meant for credentials. but we do want to keep it in somewhere, and this is the easiest way to get it in there because we're only like if this leaked, it'd be fine. And then we fire the did sign in notification. So the did sign in notification, remember, is what tells scene controller we're listening for that. The scene controller listens for did sign in and calls did sign in. It does one check. It checks if the root view controller is not a tab bar controller, because we don't want to, remember, it's firing on every single page load. We don't want this to change twice for us, right? Because then that would reset the app every time. And then we set the root view controller to our tab bar controller. So a couple questions I'm seeing. Thanks for joining, Matthew. This is recorded, so you can catch it later for sure. Why do we need to push the path on every page load? So we push the path on every page load because we don't want the Rails server to have to know when the user signs in. We just want the Rails server to know if the user is signed in. And then the iOS app can make the logic decision, like we have right here with this if statement, to say, okay, they are currently signed in. Are we in a signed in state? Oh, we are? Okay, no op, do nothing. Oh, we're not? Okay, change that to the tab bar controller. So it keeps things a lot simpler. I actually had that approach earlier where it was like after a session's create was successful, I would only fire the bridge component then. But that is only happening after specific page loads, and then you have to worry about the flash getting set, and what if they redirect after that and the flash gets eaten or doesn't get displayed? So I got rid of all of that, and I realized that this one if statement pretty much removes, this is the state, right? And if we just have one if statement around the state, that's good for me. Yes, we have another if statement right here, but that is, we can actually abstract that because we're both calling route. This is good enough for me. I like it like this. On the Android app, we're going to do something similar, but we actually swap out. We're going to be maybe swapping out the activity or swapping out the root view. I'm messing around with that right now and I haven't got it working 100%. But for iOS, it's working really well. So once they're signed in, when the Lucas asks, do we push the path or Boolean whether the user is signed in? We're pushing the path because in this particular app, I need to know the profile of the current user that's signed in. Remember that we have, when you're signed in, that first tab is my profile. This isn't going to like /me or /my or whatever. This is going to the actual URL of that user. So we need to know that URL to set that on the tab. That's where in our tab array, if we have a launch URL, our first tab is going to point to that one. Otherwise, it's going to default back to root URL. This gives us the flexibility that when someone else signs in, so if I sign out here and I sign in as, I believe that it is called friend1 is the other seed, you'll see that I now have my profile is a different person. This is the person who is signed in. Their profile URL is WKQK, and they get that. And if you notice the requests to the server, WKQK, we're getting a get there. And we're getting the get all the way back. That was for the share. We're getting it here for the profile. So why I like to use a URL instead of just like a /me is because if this had a bridge component wired up and we redirected to /whatever, /profiles, then our bridge components might break. So doing this actually keeps it a little bit cleaner and gives us more flexibility if we ever want to change this page. Hopefully that answered your question there. On the web, we don't actually care. Like, it's just doing the normal web stuff. So this just gets no opt, right? Which is nice. The other side of that is for sign out. Yeah. Yes, /profile/me is exactly what I had at the last live stream, but I was realizing that when I added this bridge component. So, okay, so there's a couple things around this. /profile/me would totally work, right? It would load if we did that, let's say we have the profiles controller, and we had, a /me, and it did profile equals profile or current dot account dot entity. Let's just assume profile account, and then it could render show, right? And let's move this down above show. So what show does is a couple of different things. It says, we get the friendship, so we'd also need to grab the friendship, and we also need to do this, blah, 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 blah. Okay, a little bit of duplication. We could always pull that out to a method. But when we get to, I guess like we could do this. That would be fine. What I was doing before was I was redirecting. This is what I had before, where we found the current user's profile, and then we redirected to it. And then our bridge components were breaking because under the hood, the URL wasn't the same, so it wasn't wiring things up. But yeah, if we did this, and we could just extract all this to like a before or whatever, that might work. You're saying with redirect, you would need to use flash.keep. Yeah, that's true. There's no flash message on. Oh, like flash.keep because we don't want it to show. Yeah, that's fair. So I guess this would work. Yeah, maybe this is worth a refactor. I mean, I already have it built out. I'm trying to think if there's anything. So on the share, the profile, let's see, the share controller. So when the user clicks share my profile, this is loaded, this is a new screen, right? We don't care what the URL is. We're just grabbing the profile by the slug. Yeah, this could work. This could work. I might refactor that. I think that the difference, like the benefit to it though, auth controller JS, is that this would just be passing in, I guess, it would simplify this for sure. And then session meta. This would be just that, right? That makes that a lot cleaner. And then the app itself would current, we wouldn't have to store any, actually we wouldn't need current at all, because we could just post this from the authentication component. We don't need this. Okay, hold on, this is looking good. So that becomes our authentication component. Current, let's keep, oh, we need this to, we'll worry about signing out in a minute here. And then here, this is always hitting endpoint.root URL.appending. Let's just do me. Okay. So we need the route. Get me to profiles me on collection, I believe. I don't know what's going to happen to this, but it's on the collection, so it doesn't matter. And then the profiles. Wait, we still have to do that. Okay, so this is, we find the profile. No, we need to find the profile. Current.account.profile entity. Okay, let's give this a try. So we got localhost/me. No, /profiles/me. Okay, it doesn't redirect. That's good. We have the wrong route in tab. We just have me. It needs to be profiles. I think it's pending components. No. Profiles me. Sweet. Okay. We'll worry about the flash in a second. So the app launches, we get my profile, we have our bridge component, which works great. Share my profile works great. It's looking good. Sign out. We sign out, create my profile, sign in. I signed in as a different user. That's expected. Sign out, and then let's just sign in as friend. Whoops, click too fast. Let's do just friend 1 here. Okay. All right. I like this, Lucas. This is good. This just cleaned up a lot of our code. Okay. So we have a couple things to clean up here. What are you talking about with Flash? So we're not redirecting anymore. We're just rendering show. We want to get rid of all of this. Do we have allow authenticate access? We don't have a profile. But we don't need this anymore because it's me, right? We're getting current account.entity. We actually don't need this because the profile it's my profile. I'm always grabbing accounts. So we don't need that, which is sweet. We do want to, unless current.account profile, redirect to somewhere. That would be our before check. And then we only have this duplicated logic from here. So that's a little bit scary to me. It's one line. I don't want to pull it out to a helper or whatever, or like a method, but this is looking good. I like this. So somewhere else in our app, we have require account, I believe. Yeah, in the friendships controller. So let's see what we do there. And then we also, do we have anything else like require in app controllers? Require admin, require account, require authentication, require confirmed email address. No. So we can just write our own here. So I'm going to do a before action. Looks like we put it above. This is going to be require profile account. Please create a profile. I mean, this is like, we shouldn't ever hit this. You know, it's a, did someone try to hit /profile of me? But we want to make sure that we handle it all. So unless current account is a profile, please create a profile first. I think I have that text somewhere. Please create a profile. Please create a profile first. Okay, that's good enough. And then def me, we don't want that. We're gonna have a before action require profile. Actually, just require profile only on the me route. Okay. Oh yeah, RG is Silvers? I don't even know what it's called. I've had the same Vim config for like 10 years, and I tried NeoVim and couldn't figure it out. So I'm stuck with this. But glad to know you learned something there. Okay, no distractions. Okay, so here's how we're gonna test this really quick. Profiles me works, sweet. If I go to my, so we got to figure out when we sign out, I want to do profiles/me. We should just say please sign in because it it's going to get that check first. We're going to create an account with, we'll just call it empty at example.com. We'll confirm our account. And then when we sign in, empty, it's going to say, hey, create your Ruby Friends profile. But for some reason, if they did that and went to profiles/me, hey, look, we get redirected perfectly. Nice. I like this. This is great. This is really great. Cool. Okay, so let's see. Are we going to break anything with the existing iOS app? I don't think so, because the next time they launch the app, it's going to have the updated code of just hitting this. If we went the other way to persisting it, we'd actually break some stuff. But for this one, I think that we're good. Quick analyze. We still need this because we're clearing out the launch path. I'm wondering if we can get rid of that. Interesting. Wait, all this does is clear out the launch path. Wait a second. We don't need this at all. We don't need current at all. Oh, this is beautiful. Get away, current. Let's build and follow our error trail. When we sign out, we're clearing the cookies and then clearing the launch path. We don't need to do that anymore. There's no launch path to read. This doesn't care about the launch path. We're calling sign out. I didn't get to it because we got sidetracked in a good way on this refactor, but we have a sign out controller that just calls a callback here. Not view controller, but controller that has a callback that calls sign out, which updates the view. So let's just test this real quick. And if this is good, we're gonna commit this. So we're gonna sign in as the main user. We're gonna sign out. We're gonna sign in as friend 1. Beautiful. And then we're going to sign out and sign in as our empty user, which should keep us in this flow. Yeah. Oh, it's beautiful. So yeah, we're still in this flow, right? We're signed in, but we haven't created a profile. So we stay here. And then even though they are signed in, when they go to create my profile, it drops them right here, just like we had before. Oh, this is lovely. This is just lovely. Okay, so let's add everything here. Whew, look at that. Look at that component. Just posts a notification. Oh, I guess we should probably check that authenticated is true. Right? Because no, we don't even passing that. We don't even need that. Yeah, we don't even need that. So think about future-proofing this. This will just no op on old devices because it's not getting the path. So backwards compatibility will be an issue here because those old, okay. So let's roll back this. Let's roll back sessions meta. We still need to send this over the wire because the old clients, and by old I mean the ones that are like, that are already downloaded today for the app that came out 48 hours ago, they need this key. Otherwise, let me roll back all this. Otherwise, this won't pass, and then we won't set the launch path, which means they won't call the notification payload, blah, 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 blah. So we do need this as a legacy, but I will take a note here. Path is legacy for pre-version 1.2 iOS apps. So this is good. Don't need any of that. Migrate from migrate from persisted profile URL to could we send the path to /profile me for these clients? That works. Yeah. I think that's what, me profile path? Me profiles. This is me profiles. Can I change that? As my profile? I don't think that's going to work with the nesting. I think that's going to give us my profile profiles. Yeah, my profile profiles. So we'd have to pull it out. So I could do... I could do this. I think. Yeah, my profile. That's nice. We're already breaking RESTful by having a /me, so not putting it under the resources. All right, yeah, very nice. And then my profile. I'll have to change one letter. And then let's just test this to make sure that this works with our new client. Right, we're creating this profile still, so this is a new one. Uh-oh. What did we 404? It tried to get... redirected to show. Oh. Oh, because we moved it out. It's not... It's hitting the show first. So we need to move it in the routes. It needs to go first. It needs to get matched first before it assumes that it's a profile. Profile, like the ME is the slug, right? So now if I just refresh this, it should work. Yeah. All right. I like it. Amend that. Sweet. Okay. Lucas, great work. Thanks for poking holes in that. That was a really nice refactor. I only wish I did it before the first version of the app launched. Oh, you know, I do have something here. I did just build this. So what we could do is we could set... you know what, it's not worth it. Okay. Cool. Very cool. Very cool. So we got this. Ruby Friends. All right. Let's... Oh yeah, forgot about that. That's okay. Any questions on that from anyone? That was a really good refactor. I'm glad we got to do that. Got to do that live. If not, we're gonna do push notifications. So what I should have done before this was get all of my push notification tokens and keys and stuff in my credentials file, but I didn't. And that's all right. We'll just either do it off the screen, and I hope they don't leak anything, or we just maybe won't get there. So we have a new friend notifier that is from Noticed, from Chris Oliver. Great gem, lets us send notifications over different delivery methods. So every time someone in our friendship controller, every time someone creates a friendship, we deliver this notification to all of the users of the account that, which, you know, is one-to-one right now, but delivers an email via the profile mailer to a new friend method and says, hey, you know, you got a new email, or sorry, a new friend. And what that looks like, I have one So you get an email that looks like this. So I just got this notification. Carl just added me as a Ruby friend. I can update my email preferences, which goes to the /preferences page, /edit, and I can either turn off those notifications. But if I click Carl, it will send me to the notification and delete it, and then redirect me to the URL of that user's profile. So that is coming from here. We have URL profile path. And then when we display the notification, or in the mailer, I should say, we have the mailer, the profile mailer, and that hits the new friend HTML. We're linking to the notification. This is really nice because the notification controller on show and destroy, right? To keep RESTful is the destroy, and for emails is the show, will mark that notification as read and then redirect us to the actual notification. So it's really helpful because it means that we can, I don't have that notification as read anymore, and we can redirect to any number of notifications. It doesn't have to be this friend one. But enough about that. We care about iOS notifications, right? So we're gonna have a new deliver by method. And we're gonna get that deliver by method by going to the noticed gem. We're gonna scroll down to Apple push notification service. And we're gonna go through this tutorial. Gotta add the Appnotic gem. That's how it works under the hood. Bundle up. Stop our server and restart it to be safe. And I'm going to create a token, but I'm not going to do that right now because it might be boring to watch and I don't want to leak any keys. So we're going to set up all this first. Then we're going to get the token from the client, and then if we have time, we'll actually send the notification. So, zoop. Okay, so we have this iOS, config the device tokens. It looks like we're getting the recipient notification tokens for platform as iOS, plugging the token. Looks good. This is a multi-line. I just like to do it like that. And here's all of our credentials. And then we have an error handler where we want to delete the token. I know that there's code down here because I wrote most of this documentation. So what this says is when Apple tells us the notification token is invalid, we want to just get rid of all the tokens that match that because we don't want to keep sending it there. And device tokens, these are just a little long, these lines. So we're going to just move them like this. Okay, so the format, we're going to set the alert is going to be the message, which I believe is just down here. I've already defined the message, so we have access to that. And we also have the URL, so we can throw that in there too. And this is going to be the custom payload, so this is going to be where we can parse it out and then deep link to it, which is really nice. And we can just go right to the notification, which will redirect us to the profile show page and do all the same stuff that we do on the web. This is setting up all of our credentials, which we'll throw in. I don't like doing dig here. I actually like to fail if we don't have this, right? Dig will silently fail if it's empty. It'll just return nil. This will actually raise an error of saying that I don't know what iOS is, which is nice. I guess I could have just changed dig to an exclamation point, but whatever. Okay, cool. Migration. So, binrails g migration. Add note, create, add. I always forget the terminology here. Let's look at my migrations. Create, add. So add notification tokens to, create active storage tables, create notification tokens. And we got a belongs to the user. And then we have a string, which is the token. And we have a string, which is the platform. Yeah, I always get these backwards. User belongs to token, string. We want that to be non-nil. Platform, non-nil string. Platform will be able to distinguish between iOS and FCM for Android. Cool, got our migration. Belongs to a user, null, false, foreign key, token, platform. Sweet. Let's open up our routes. We need a way to post to it. Yeah, so Apple will give us a notification token unique to the device, and then we'll use that to send the notification. Noticed abstracts it for us by abstracting Hypnotic, which abstracts it from APNS, but essentially right here where we say, hey, who should get this notification? We grab all that recipient's notification tokens for iOS and then send it to them. A user could have multiple iOS devices, so they could have multiple iOS tokens, right? That's why this is not a find by, but a where, and like iPhone, iPad type stuff, or they just get two devices. Don't need my email open anymore. I already showed you that. Routes. So we have notifications. We also have Hotwire Native. So we're going to look for a route now to post our notification token to. I'm going to keep it under notifications. We already have this, so we're going to do a resources notification. Oh, you know what? Notification. No, it's not. I don't want it to be like notifications tokens, because then it would be the tokens controller. I think I'm just going to do a resources notification tokens controller, and that's only going to be create. When someone signs out, I'm not going to do two requests and like delete the token and then sign the user out. I'm just going to send a delete to session, and session will delete the token that comes along with the payload. So I'm going to keep it like this, or with only create. App controllers, notification tokens. And our application controller includes authentication, which already has before action require authentication. So we don't have to worry about that. We're associating these with the user, not the account. So we don't have to worry about them having an account. So we're going to expect params.expect notification token, and that is going to give us platform and token. And then here we're going to say current.user.notification tokens.find or create by notification token params. And this is going to be a JSON response, so we're actually just going to head or render JSON, an empty hash. I could probably do a head 200, but the library that I use acts weird when there's empty JSON responses, so we're going to render an empty JSON for now. Find or create by, because they might hit this multiple times with the same token, and we do not want to create a new record in the database every time that. We just want to use the same one. And yeah, that looks good. So our user model has many notification tokens. And we want to dependent destroy them. So if the user ever gets destroyed, we'll also destroy all of their notification tokens. And then we want to create a new model, notification token, class notification token, record. Why can't I think of what it's called? Application record. And this is going to belongs to a user. Cool, thank you. And then validates token presence true and validates platform inclusion in. I'd rather use an enum for this, right? Because then in the notifier, I can do, instead of this, I can just be like iOS. Ooh. If I do it like that, then the enum is platform. There's a new way to do enums, I feel like, in Rails 8. So let's just write that. We'll throw it off to the side, and we're going to roll this off to the side and open, make sure we have this right. So notification token, probably should migrate first. Okay, wrong number of arguments given 0, expected 1 to 2. Yeah, I was running into this the other day. There's something new about this. Okay, that's the, we actually don't want a default. Oh. So that's good as a number, an integer. It is what we want. I wonder if you can do it as a string though. Okay, not very helpful. Okay, but we had this like 0 points to something or points to 0. Yeah. So let's just mirror that. Pass a hash for strings. Okay. So it's iOS points to iOS, FCM points to FCM. I think that's what we want. Reload, given 0, expected 1 to 2. Oh, it's not a, this is what screwed me up, because that feels weird, that feels backwards. I want to point to this hash, but I guess enum takes multiple arguments. Okay, notification token.ios should give us all the things where platform is iOS. Cool. Let's create a new one. NT equals new token foo and platform iOS lowercase. NT.valid false. Great. iOS NT.valid false. NT.errors. User. That's on me. nt.user equals user.first. nt.valid. Okay, nt.platform equals iOS lowercase. nt.valid. True. Oh, it did it for us. That's pretty cool. No, it didn't. It said it did. Weird. I wonder why that... Maybe the enum coalesces it into lower cases. Well, to be honest, I don't really care because we have the enum. So that'll work, but this won't, right? Oh, wow. Okay, so there's a lot of magic going on with enums now. So I just did a platform lowercase, uppercase. Oh, this is nice. Yeah. And then notification token dot new user, user dot first, platform invalid, token foo. Invalid is not a valid platform. Okay, this is good. I like this. So these are kind of, I guess that's what it's storing it in the database as. So why am I using a string? Well, I guess it is kind of nice, right? So if we get notification token dot first, and then we say platform before typecast. Yeah, it is a string as capital. Okay, so Ruby, or Rails I should say, is just coalescing this into what our enum key is. But under the hood, the database is actually storing it as what I set on this side. Okay. If that was stuff that everyone already knew, sorry. But I feel like enums have changed in Rails 8, and this just answered a lot of questions for me. Okay, so if I do user.first.notification tokens, yeah, we get that one. Yeah, Jesper. Before typecast is sweet, especially when you start getting into stuff like this. Polymorphic stuff, it's awesome on. Yeah, really helpful. So let's just get rid of all those. Notification token.empty. Or not empty. None. I guess I can't do that, can I? Oh my god, if I could type. True, none. Okay, so we have the record. We need the route. We have the route. We have the route. We need the iOS app to do the thing. So what we're going to do here is we're going to have a bridge component that says ask for permission. We're going to have a view model that posts the token to our server. And then something that's going to handle when it comes back. But what I want to build first is this view model, and we'll just call it to kind of build, I guess we're building inside out, which is usually build outside in, but it's fun. View models. Let's build, so we have the sign out view model. Let's create, oh, you know what we're going to do? We're going to copy this. Notification token view model. Notification token view model. This should just build. Okay, so this is going to be post token, and it's going to be, we're going to want the URL. So actually this should just be post, and then this is going to be token, which will be a string. And the URL request is going to hit endpoint root URL appending components, just component notification toke. I can't see Xcode. Okay. This is going to be a post method, not a delete anymore. Yeah, I want that just to know it's coming from the Hotwire Native app. Yeah. And then we will make the request. We'll check the status code, make sure it's, oh, we are just checking for 200. So let's head okay, I think, for 200. Success. Definitely don't want to clear out cookies. And otherwise we're going to fail. Okay, so this is good. We don't actually have the token in there, right? So we're going to have a private extension on notification token view model called a struct called notification token. This is going to be encodable, so we can change it from string. We're going to have the token, thank you, is going to be a string. We're going to have the platform is going to equal iOS. And then it's going to be like, hey, I can't encode that, so we need the enum for the encoding. Encoding keys. Come on, give me the thing. Enum coding. There we go. In this case, token case platform. So if we don't explicitly give it the coding keys, it thinks that this is set to something, so it's actually just not going to include it in the payload at all, which is not what we want. We want to make sure that it is included. If we didn't have this defaulted to a value, then we wouldn't need this here. So inside we have our request. We need to add the body. So request.body, HTTP body equals try JSON encoder. Encode the notification token. And this is with a try, so anything that'll catch will get the error, that'll fail. We're doing all of this manually. I usually use something called HTTP. Oh God, what is it called? I built it. HTTP client. I like this a lot because it's meant for Rails, right? It does automatic JSON parsing. It's all like we could write what we just wrote really quick. I guess it would look like this, but I'm just trying to use more Swift native stuff. And this wraps Swift in like 50 lines of code, and it still works great. I use it for all my client projects, but I'm just trying to give URL session a go because already I'm starting to see things that I would extract. Like we have a lot of shared code here, and starting at a different abstraction point might make me see some new things. Okay, so we have all this. What we're gonna do here is open up our scene controller, and we're gonna say right after the scene starts, that's not what we wanted. After did sign in, we're just going to throw a task on here, and this is going to kick us off onto a background thread. And this on the background thread, we're going to say view model, what is it? Notification token view model, post foobar. And we're going to await that. And we're going to have result, or I guess switch, because switch is going to give us the different cases, and we don't care what's in here. Print posted token, and then let error print function error. I like to throw this hash function in here because it'll give us did sign in the logs automatically, whatever the static function is that we're calling right now. So yeah, after we launch the app, we're gonna do this post. This might be able to be a static. We'll take a look at that in a sec. Yeah, let's give it a go. I'm gonna clear out my. We still have no tokens, correct? Clear out my logs, and let's run the app and see if anything breaks. Okay. We're not signed in, so we didn't get into that block. That's great. I'm gonna clear my logs one more time now that we're signed in, and okay, I saw an error. I saw a big stack trace. What happened? Invalid authenticity token. Ah, yes. So we're making a JSON request. I don't care about CSRF. We're already going to assume we know the user has to be authenticated. So we are going to ignore CSRF, which I always forget. Skip verify authenticity token. Nope. I always forget, do we use protect from forgery or do we skip? Whatever. Probably calls the same thing under the hood. Only on skip before action. Cool. Thank you. Even though this is the only function or only method in here, like this is a pretty dangerous thing to just blop into your app. So we're gonna do only on create just to be double safe. That if we add a new function here that's like index or whatever, I guess that wouldn't matter because it would be like delete. We want to make sure we add delete there too. I guess, is that being over? No, I take that back. It's good enough. Okay, clear this out. We can, where did we call this? Is it inside the if? It is inside the if. So we need to sign out. Or actually, we can just relaunch the app. I saw some errors this time again too. Okay, so param is missing, notification token. We are posting the raw parameters. We're not posting it nested inside of a notification token. So this here. So we just need to get rid of like that. Or so I thought, because I saw an error again. Param is missing. Platform. Oh, interesting. So we're not getting platform now? Platform. Platform. We're getting iOS. Expected param is missing or the value is empty or invalid. I mean, seems like it's there. Okay, let's pry. Where am I? Notification, Okay, so params. Oh, I know what's going on. This is a string. It's not formatted as JSON. Oops, I just killed the app. Oh, recovered. So we need to set the content type in our view model. Right, we're not doing any JSON? Yeah, we're not. I wonder if it would be easier if we just did that. I think we still want to do it. Is it text JSON for content type? I'm gonna Google this, I always forget. Set JSON type in post. That usually gets me there. What do we got? Gemini. Content type to, oh, application JSON. And, oh, that's it. Sweet. That was close. All right, let's run this again. I bet we're going to go back to what we had before where it's like, hey, it's not nested. No such column iOS. Okay, we got the parameters correctly. Oh, look, it is nested there too. So it's giving it as both because of our controller action. So let's just get rid of that. I like that better. It follows, conventions of Rails a little bit more. Do we get it? I don't see any. I didn't think I saw. Oh, I see green. I see green. We got it. Okay, so we got an insert into. All right. Insert into notification tokens. And now we should be able to. Is this none? It's not. Any? Yes. One. Yeah, hooray. So we got our user ID. We got our platform. We can say first is iOS. Nice. And then let's steal their token. Okay, we got it. We got it. And then if we make this request again, we're not going to hit green, but we're instead going to just hit that query that does the find. No, not that. Post. Yeah, no green because it's notification token load. There's the find or create by. And we should still have one. True. Awesome. Okay. Beautiful. So this is a pretty beefy. There's a lot, 41 lines of code to post, a token. But I do think that we can pull some stuff out of this, especially this. We're always doing that. We're always kind of handling the same response until we start to get data from the server. We're just checking for a 200. Yeah, I could refactor this, but we're not going to do that now. It's going to be boring. Or is it? I don't know. You tell me. But we don't need this. So our view model is working. We now want something to trigger when the view model should be called. So our app delegate is going to have a function called did receive token, did register for notification token, and did fail to register for remote notification token. So here we're going to want to do the post and then here we're just going to, for now, we're going to print this out. Error registering for notification tokens. So we don't call this code. When we register for notifications, the OS calls this function for us, which means we kind of lose any connection to where we were in like a bridge component or a Hotwire or whatever. So what I like to do for this is just add it here. And now we just have a reference to it. And we can just post that token, right? Like, keeps things easy. We don't have to worry about bouncing notifications around and stuff. It's just, we're just there. But device token comes in as data, which is just freaking weird. I still don't know why they do that. We need it as a string. So we're going to say token equals device token as string. Yeah, that doesn't actually exist. So what we're going to do is go to, this is something that I Google almost every project, iOS, convert token notification token from data to string. And I'm copying and pasting this, but it is exactly what Apple recommends. It's a data, like raw data, right? And we just need to format it as a string. I don't know why Apple doesn't give it to us as a string. Apparently it's for performance reasons, but you could find this exact code pretty much on Apple's documentation site. So we're just gonna throw this in a task and then make sure we await. result of post is unused. Ah, that's right. We were actually saying if there was an error or not. So I think we can do... We only care about the failure, right? If it's success, we just want a no op. Oh, how do we do this? Map error? I think that this is... Why not? Result. Oh, flat map error? There, see, this is where Swift is just like, ugh, don't want to do this. I want to just grab an error. So what we could do is we're gonna, if we, I know how to do this, is if we switch on this, right? And then we get all the states. We could just no op for success. I just wanted to do it in a little bit cleaner. Or like, I guess we're only saving one less line. What is going on here? Okay, so we have the, oh wait, we have the switch. What? Type of expression is ambiguous. Wow, just I had too many parentheses. Okay. If we were to figure out the flat map error, we could get rid of this line, and this line, which would be pretty nice. So let's try to do it. Swift result map error. Just get error. Okay, that's what we know how to do, switch statement. Oh, if case let. Oh, okay. If case let, of course, rolls right off the tongue. So this is if case let await view model dot post token. No, wait. Yeah, if case let failure error equal. Just, yep. Okay, so these two things, getting rid of that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 1, 2, 3. These both do the same thing. Here we're doing nothing on success, but we're using a switch statement. And here we're only caring about the error and to run this code here. So essentially a success would either be in the else statement or just no opt, which is exactly what we want, right? So let's do that. I like that a lot better. I don't want this to be a lot of code, you know, it's our application delegate. I guess we could move all this to like a controller, but yeah. Okay. Now we need to register for push notifications. I'm going to create a new component. And to do that, I'm going to copy paste. What's the shortest one? Button. I need to be more consistent with when I write final. Oh, no, I just need to do it this time. Okay, so This is gonna be, we only want to say like ask for permission. So I think we can just worry about connect. So our event here, oops, is notification token component. Oh, I actually don't care about any of this. And then we don't want to add a menu button. We want to okay. I have to import UI notification center, user notifications, UI user notifications, no, user notifications UI. UN notification center current request authorization. Just like to pull these out. Options. Banner. Banner badge. Actually not. Yeah, banner badge and sound. So banner up at the top, badge on the icon, app icon, and then sound. UN authorization options. Oh wait, this is. Actually, I don't think this is right. Badge, sound, and alert. Let's look at some old code. Here is the notification token component from my bridge components library. So this is the paid component, so you're welcome. We get the center, we get the options, and then we're in an async world, so this fails. So what we're going to do is not be an async. Do we want to just be an async? We could just throw this in a task. And then we have an error. I guess we got to do catch this. Nice. Okay, so if it's true, we actually don't want to do anything if we catch, but print failed to request notification authorization. Cool. I think that's actually all we need for here, because remember, we're detached from iOS is just going to give us this token down the road to our app delegate. We don't want to do anything else in here. Actually, don't even need UI kit. So I think this is all we need here. We're just going to send the connect. I'm going to set a breakpoint here just so we remember. Are we using view controller? Probably not. Yeah. Nice. So let's create our one on the Rails side. Bin Rails G stimulus bridge notification token. It's going to give us our notification token controller JavaScript. Notification token controller JavaScript, and just like before, we're gonna do a little copy pasta. Connect this dot send connect. So what this is saying is anytime this fires or is in the DOM, we're going to ask the user for notification permission. It's kind of a brute force, hammer style approach, but the saving grace here is that Apple will only ask the user once for us, no matter what. So this doesn't handle like if they haven't given us access or whatever, but I think this is good enough to start, even to launch with, because we just want to ask the user if we can get permission, and we'll handle it other ways if we can. So what we'll do here, we could add it actually to the sessions meta. We could add another controller here if the current account is a profile, because that is kind of our trigger to do everything. So if we do bridge notification, notification token here, so now we have two controllers wired up, that will just fire this connect and should be good. And it won't actually fire until they're, well, signed in, right? Which is exactly what we want. So we don't want to forget to add, register this in the app delegate, configure Hotwire, notification token component. We got that wired up. So we have our breakpoint, We're going to run this, and we shouldn't hit that breakpoint, so far so good, until we actually are signed into an account with a profile. So after I click sign in, that next page should fire this. Awesome. And we get here, we get here, we get there. I'm going to set a breakpoint here and here just to be safe. Not sure why that fired. Hey, look at that. Ruby Friends would like to send you notifications. Notifications may include alerts, blah, 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 blah. Allow. And then we register. So I'm going to go to my app delegate, go to set a breakpoint here, set a breakpoint here, continue. Okay, so far so good. Okay, so we've gotten there, and we didn't get a failure. So that should mean we have two. And look at that, we have a real token. Awesome. That is really great. It means that we got our token through our notification. It only happened when we signed in. That's good stuff. That's really good stuff. And, we'll need to wire up signing out to send that token. So we'll need to persist this somewhere in the app. But for, I don't know, what was that? 40 minutes or whatever? That's pretty good. That's pretty good. So what I'm going to do is take some notes here, and then I'll open up the floor for some Q&A. So notification token, actually the view model needs to persist the token for delete later, and this is only going to happen on success. And then the sign out view model needs to attach the notification token to be deleted when we sign out. And I guess then down here, clear persisted notification token. I might have this do that, but we'll talk about that. We'll figure that out. Cool. On the server side, we have this, which is great. The notification token controller, controller RB is just head. Skip before action, right? Because it's JSON. Notification token RB belongs to a user and dependent destroy. Yeah, this is looking pretty good. This is looking really good. And then the notifier, yeah, so this is the only thing we didn't get into to actually send the notification, is we don't have this configuration loaded. So we won't be able to send any notifications until we get those wired up. And I'm trying to think if I can do that right now. I'm just gonna have to be staring at my face a lot. No, I will. Trust me. Okay, so yeah, that pretty much wraps it up for today. We got through a lot. We did that huge refactor thanks to Lucas. We did 95% of push notifications from scratch, which is really cool. This all follows the exact same approach that I am doing in my book. So if you haven't checked it out at all, there is Hotwire Native for Rails developers at pragprog.com. The ebook is on sale and the physical book should be ready in the next few weeks. But I walk through this in a chapter dedicated to push notifications, and it is the almost exact same approach that we built, but with a little bit more reasoning behind everything. And of course, you have the code that you can, well, just copy paste from the book or access to the repo. So if you're interested in checking that out, go to pragprog.com. I'll drop a link to this in the chat. Yeah. So everyone has that if they want to check it out. But yeah, lots of awesome stuff today. Thank you for folks that are joining. I'm going to just poke around a little bit, but if anyone has any questions or wants to see a little bit more of the code, just drop it in the chat and let me know. Lucas is asking, how do we generate the keys and do we need an Apple dev account? Yeah, so you'll go to developer.apple.com. You'll need a paid developer account, which is $99 a year. And then you go to the keys section and you generate them from there. So if I know you can't see my screen, I'm just signing in. Touch ID. So if I am now signed into the developer account, if I go down to this thing called keys right here, I can then click a plus sign and create a Apple push notification service. And we'll need to make sure that the service is actually configured for the app, which is really nice. They let us do that. And we can create a key. So you kind of just follow the walkthrough and it gives you a token. It is a P12? It's not a JSON file, but what you can do is you can extract the token from, the payload from the token and copy paste it into your credentials file. Again, I walk through all of that in the book in detail about like, here's the key, how do you get it out, and all that stuff that I can't really show live because it's a real token. So definitely, if you're interested in that, check it out, or let me know and maybe I can do a recorded video on it or something like that. Cool. Thank you everyone for joining today. This was a really good session. I'm glad we got through a lot of this stuff. I'm very grateful for Lucas for calling me out on that. Having that new code is really nice. No, you do need to pay $99 just to test this in the simulator. You can test notifications by dragging and dropping a notification JSON file over the iOS simulator, but you're not testing anything to do with your Rails side. You're just testing like the behavior of the iOS app. But yeah, it will cost $99. Let's see. I saw Lucas in here. I saw Jesper, Matthew, and looks like Yegor. Why do we need to use UIKit in Hotwire Native? From a while back. We still need to use UIKit as the scaffolding for the app, but you can definitely tack on Swift UI views, and I have a whole chapter dedicated to that in the book as well about how to clicking a link showing a page that is rendered with a native Swift UI view instead of with a Hotwire Native web screen, and that pretty much just comes down to something called UI hosting controller, which bridges the gap between the two frameworks. Will we ever have a Swift UI native Hotwire Native? Maybe. especially with the recent additions in iOS 26 to navigation. It's becoming closer, but we're definitely not there yet. I will definitely be the first to know because I'll probably be the one working on it though. So, yeah, if anyone has more experience with that or has some working whatever, let me know. I'd love to check it out. Awesome. Thanks to hear that, Chris. Yeah, the first half we talked about authentication in the Ruby Friends app and how we're swapping out the tabs for an authenticated user versus unauthenticated user. Really helpful in just like keeping your iOS app nice and clean for when someone launches it instead of having to do some ugly stuff with like showing and hiding the tab bar and all that stuff. So, yeah. If you have any questions, my email address is all over my website. And if you haven't already, Mazzolati.com is where you can find probably the most Hotwire Native resources on the web. I recommend the newsletter. There's 3,600 of us right now that have subscribed, and I talk about Hotwire Native, every week there. So definitely a good place to level up your skills and get exclusive discounts on the book and any upcoming products I have. It looks like Chris is also talking about pushing for Rocky Mountain Ruby to use Ruby Friends at the conference. That would be so awesome. I'm actually already in talks with someone else for using it at the conference. So if you are interested in using Ruby Friends at the conference, just like shoot me an email. It is, if you go to my homepage, it's right here, joe@mazzolati.com. Please, let's do that. That'd be so cool. I'd love to see Ruby Friends at a conference officially. All right, everyone. I will catch y'all next week. Have a good weekend and talk soon.